It's a fight that goes beyond bad and good. It's a fight between can and should. So bound to the sound, make a revolution. This is the act of war. This is the evolution.
There wasn't any like story behind it as per, but like it was just a play on the word Bollywood, obviously, because Karan said like everybody loves metal, they just don't know it yet, and that was the whole thing behind it. There wasn't a lot of thought in it. They were just like, hey, we're like anti pop, anti party, and char bottle vodka.
Hi guys, welcome to another session of Radio City Indie, and today I'm really excited to be over here. I'll tell you why. The metal scene in India has been redefined and revolutionized, and one of the credits or major of the credits could go to a band who makes songs and music for a bloody cause, and their music and their songs and tunes are as hard as wood. Please welcome Bloodywood with me. Hi Raoul. Hi Jayant. How are you?
Hi Shweta. Good.
That's right.
Before we just move ahead, why don't you guys quickly introduce yourself and tell me what are the roles that you play in the band?
Hi, my name's Raoul and I'm the rapper in the band.
I'm Jayant and I do vocals.
Awesome.
And I also supply band with entertainment.
Amazing. So tell me, how was it an idea from the very beginning that you wanted to go into metal, or you three were metalheads from the very beginning and you had an idea to start something of your own?
Karan, I would say, was the senior from the scene. So he used to have a band called Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in school back then when he was playing. So like eventually, like when I got into college and I slowly started making my way into the metal scene, that's when I met Karan. I had a quick chat. We said like, yeah, we'll work together sometime. And then for a year nothing happened. And one day, like, I was with the drummer of the band, Vishesh. So we went, and Vishesh was playing with one more band that Karan was working on at that time. But I went to the jams and then we talked again. And then one day, Karan randomly called me. He's like, "You've got a mic?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And I had this really cheap mic, like $1,400 Shure mic, and I just went to his place with that mic. And then we recorded one cover just for fun. And we did a couple more. And then we were like, you know what? I think there's something here, and we can,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead with it. From here, Raul, you take over from there.
Yeah, so the one thing I will add though is that the plan, like Jayant mentioned, is through his story, is that the plan was always to make metal. So what the guys were doing was they were making entertaining, like funny, but also very badass covers of pop songs going metal. And it was a way of, growing an audience and exploring the band's sound. So, that's exactly what Jayant was talking about in terms of the journey, for the band.
The covers weren't exactly covers. That was like sort of our rendition, because we'll change the lyrics. Yeah. Few of the songs didn't even sound like not few. Actually, a lot of the songs didn't even sound like
Because I was watching as an audience member, initially, when I just met Karan for the first time, which was about 7 or 8 months before we collaborated for the first time. And I was having a great time. I was like, okay, wow, they really do something special with, their versions of these songs. And it's a fun thing when you watch any of the original covers. It was a great time. And the thing is, for me though, I was always primarily into hip hop, but also I did enjoy rock. And it's after joining the band that I realized really do enjoy metal as well. So for me, my plans were hip hop, and I'm still into hip hop in general. But with the band, I've really discovered my love for metal music and the metal community as a whole. When we Jayant was saying, Karan and I met, and I asked him to make a music video for me, or lyric videos to begin with, but then we ended up making a music video together, and we became friends over the course of making that video and touch. And then he asked me if I wanted to collaborate on a song with the band, and I said hell yeah, without thinking about it, because I've always liked the mixture, like I said, between rap and metal, all the way, from my childhood, without realizing it. I used to, Linkin Park was my first inspirations music wise, but I also listened to a lot of other heavy bands like Rage Against the Machine and Limp Bizkit, So the idea of fusing rap with metal is something that came pretty naturally to me, and it was pretty exciting. But the difference was also this time that the guys had planned to remix of Ari Ari and basically interpret it as despite our differences we are one, and that's a message I could 100% get behind. So all of us, without meaning to or without in our own way, wanted to try and do something, in terms of music with a message, transition once that built this platform.
Right.
And speaking of the platform, though, the other thing I noticed as an audience member is that the guys who are getting eyeballs from all around the world, the channel was still like up and coming at that point, but comments you saw were from everywhere, it was a very interesting foundation and a very solid foundation that created at that point. And we collaborated and just threw a match on it, and it exploded after Ari Ari.
No, I'm so glad that it exploded because we get some amazing metal music to listen to. Now, I'm sure the next question, you must have been tired of answering this, but still our viewers are desperate to know, how did you come up with the name Bloodywood?
There wasn't a lot of thought in it. They were just like, hey, we're like anti-pop, anti-party, and char bottle vodka.
God, I'm so glad because we've had enough of such tracks, people copying char bottle vodka or something very much similar to it. And then there's another party track. But tell me something, talking about the metal scenes, how the metal scene has evolved in India as compared to if we were speaking, say, 5 years before?
Metal has always had its ups and downs in India. I mean, again, like when I was in school, I couldn't witness it properly because, parents didn't let me go. But there was a thing called, GIR, and like bands like Meshuggah, Tesseract, they'll come to Delhi and like other states in India and like play and go, and people wouldn't know, but there used to be a very strong scene. And that strong scene, that legacy has been going on. So like when I was a kid, I used to listen to bands like Undying Ink or the Downtrodden's from India, Downtrodden's being from Karnataka, Undying from Delhi. And at this point in life, like I'm friends with those people, and they're still strong supporting the scene. Right now, we say this every time, like we've been asked a lot in other interviews as well, that it's a very close-knit scene. It's tight, it's small, but it's tight. So I think, again, like, I'll quote Sahil Makhija on this, that like there must be like 10,000 metalheads in India in total. But it's very, like, everyone knows everyone, and the shows that when they get packed, it's like, it's like one huge gathering, like a family gathering at this point. Like everyone knows everyone. And it is on the rise with bands like,
I said that there have been some really special nights for metal in India, where it's like I'd say 200 to 300 people will show up together in a venue and just run the whole night. You can really feel the energy, you can really feel the sense of community. And it is great. Like Jayant said, it's a small, very strong scene.
Yeah, and plus, it's making, post-COVID, making its way back in with like Bombay and all these places. Now they've started having metal gigs, and like people are saying, why aren't they happening in Delhi? And I think they'll happen soon.
Yeah, and the other thing was that we noticed this the first time we toured. There was the resident, I think the manager of the that we played at, mentioned that a lot of people, like unfamiliar faces, had turned up to the gig which we played, in the sense that it was a sign that new people are getting involved, into metal in India. So
plus the amount of bands that are going out of India and playing, like for example Gutslit also does a lot of tours and everything. And then there is also System House 33. They also just completed a long tour in the EU. I think they were in support of Nervosa, and I don't remember the other band, but it was like a very lengthy tour. So now these bands have been doing it actually, but there wasn't any, any light on the fact that there are bands who are like, working well and going outside India. And with like time now, people have started noticing, like even us like having long tours and all of that. So now people have started noticing as well. Now we get the comments like, why aren't you performing in India first? I'm like, yeah.
And we always say we're always going to perform in India. Don't we just, we get
that's a ritual now at this point.
When is your India tour? When are you going to make it happen? All that stuff. And our answer is always the same, that it'll always happen. We'll always play in India before we head out. and maybe after we come back.
Radio City.